What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on the only day off I have. First things first, y'all like, subscribe, share. That, after all, is how we push out more 2A content to the masses. Also, I would tell you, take a minute and check out the biggest supporter of what I do here, and that is my friends at OutlastSupply.com. OutlastSupply.com is awesome. I tell you guys about them every video, and that is because I truly believe in who they are and what they do. And they support your boy over here, letting me make more videos, shoot more guns, and do more stuff so I can bring more content to the masses. It's just freaking awesome, man. It's a great place. And if you were to, I don't know, search for personal defense on that website at OutlastSupply.com, you would probably find what you're looking for. Just saying. Also, if you're in there looking for water filtration stuff, shelf-stable food, they got all that stuff there too. Next thing I'm going to say here is we're going to talk about one specific channel on this, and that is Bear Solutions. Now, I don't know the guys at Bear Solutions. I would love the opportunity to either bring them to me here and train or go to them and train. I dig what they do. I actually know one of the guys that was on their thing, Steve. I was lucky enough to meet him at a match where I was also at a school with Sean Griffith from Griffith Shooting Solutions, also another fantastic instructor if you get the chance. He just doesn't have a channel here for me to show you, but Google him. He's on here somewhere. So Bear Solutions has started their drill of the month, which is a fantastic idea. I love the fact that he's basically opening an open invitation to everybody to go do this. I think it's awesome. If you guys are on Facebook or Instagram, you have seen my first initial run at his drill of the month, which is the 3R33. So 3 rounds, reload, 3 rounds strong hand, 3 rounds support hand, only at 10 yards into an A zone. You score it using standard USPSA scoring, so that is 5 for an A zone, 3 for a Charlie, or 1 for a Delta. And if you miss, it's -10, so don't miss. But I love it. And it ties in really well with something I was actually planning on doing anyway, and that is talking about how to develop a training plan. It is a question I get a lot, right? Now, I publish my actual range outlines over on my website, violentalgebra.com. I publish them there because I think it's important. What I do is every single week, I open a free law enforcement training class. Anybody with a badge can show up where I'm at and bring some ammo, and we will train. And I will help to make you better. That is my goal, right? Because the overall training of law enforcement in the firearms world is pretty abysmal, right? It always kind of makes me cringe when I hear people say, like, oh man, but this is what the cops do. That is probably never a really good barometer of good, unless the cop you're talking to is someone like me that shoots all the time. I am not the only one. There is a collective of us. There are few enough of us, though, that we all know each other. But they're everywhere. Like, they're around. Like, guys that shoot all the time, right? Like, not as all of them shoot 50,000 rounds a year like I do, but we all train. But what I do is every single week, I develop a training plan to do certain things, and then I implement that training plan on the range to great effect. And I've learned over time that doing this is a skill set we should all have. At some level, even if you're not a firearms instructor, you should know how to develop a training plan to get out of it what you want to get out of it. So today we're going to talk about developing your training plan. Hopefully you find this helpful and it makes you a better shooter, because after all, that is my goal. As always, if you guys have questions about this stuff, you know how to find me, violentalgebra.com. Contact me there. You can get to me on social media, though I get a lot of messages there, so I may not see it. So developing a training plan itself is probably one of the most important things and skill sets that we actually can learn to do as a shooter, right? Not only does it give us a plan to follow on and to keep us on task, which is important, it also keeps us tracking and focused on improving certain skills. That is kind of, after all, why we shoot, right? Like, we want to be better at the art that is gun fu. Now, the biggest thing you need to take away from how to develop a training plan is it's supposed to be fun, right? It's not a stressful thing. You know, as you begin down this journey of developing your own training plans, it can be really daunting, and it can feel that you don't have a clue where to start, or that you don't know enough to be developing your own training plan. But that's wrong. It's wrong because nobody knows what you need to be better at more than you. Unless, of course, you've never gone to any instruction whatsoever. In that case, find a class. It's important. If for no other reason than you learn how this stuff is supposed to be presented and laid out. Now, the first thing we have to do when we develop a training plan of any kind is to ask yourself a question. What do you want to try to improve on? That's it. That's the only question we got to ask, right? Now, once you've asked yourself that question and you've decided what it is that you wish to improve upon as a shooter, the next thing you have to do is set a maximum round count for your range day. That is very important, because here's the thing, man. Guys that shoot guns and buy ammo are kind of like dogs chasing a squirrel, man. We may end up 6 blocks from home, never know how we got there, and we never caught that car or that squirrel. That happens to you, right? If you have no plan and no max allotted range ammo amount, you're going to burn through everything you take, because it's what we do, because shooting guns is fun. So setting up a max round count, and this is how I actually start my range days. I set a max round count, right? So like my range days look a lot like this guy right here. You see at the top, it's got the rifle and the handgun amount of ammo that we're going to shoot on this range day. That allows me to control the ammo consumption, right? So if you are building out and you've got 5,000 rounds of 9mm, right? Or you've got 1,000 rounds of 9mm to last you the next 3 months. Budgeting out your max range amount is going to keep you kind of in line so that you don't run out of ammo before you can buy more ammo. And like I said, the biggest thing is, because if we take extra stuff with us without like a actual round count in mind, dog chasing a car, man, it's game on. Like, it's going to happen. So now that we've decided how much ammo we want to be able to use and kind of what we want to work on, now it's time to find the drills, the stuff that actually makes us better. The drills you pick should focus on your main goal and drive that way, while offering up some decent variety so that you don't actually get bored while you're shooting. Things like the 3-2 drill, which is a part of the black belt standards, 3 in the chest, 2 in the head, right at 3 yards. That is a very fast, quick-paced drill that involves target transitions, a draw from the holster, developing a grip, and good recoil control so that you don't break down as you're shooting 5 rounds. That's awesome, right? It hits a bunch of things at one time. Another really awesome, solid one, and I adore this drill so much. Did I not grab one? I thought I grabbed one. Yeah, there we go. So something like this. This is the Gorilla Approach Consistency Drill. This is shot at 3 yards, and you're going to put 1 round into small circles, 2 rounds into big circles. This takes 24 rounds. It's got a mandatory reload right there. So between these two, you're going to mandatory reload. So doing that is going to let me do transitions at a smaller scale. I'm going to get good grip. I'm going to have great recoil control. I'm going to get a reload. I'm going to learn how to slow down on a smaller target, get good throttle control. All of that's going to take place in one drill that takes 24 rounds, right? And then here's the thing. If you shot this and you were like, man, I need to get better at transitioning target to target and keeping my cadence up, well, now you know what you need to do. Put 2 circles up and do that, right? This is how we discover what we need. These will hit all of this stuff just in a very simplified form for a drill. And keep in mind, this stuff is all available at violentalgebra.com, at least the range plan, so you can get this. Now, a good place to start if you have no idea where to go to start selecting drills is, well, my website is a great place to start. Go to Range Plans. Another one is Tier 1 Concealed. They have an entire playlist of just them shooting drills and different qualifications. That is an excellent one. Orion Training Group has put out some fantastic stuff. Ben Steger's got good stuff. Bear Solutions, good stuff, right? Like, we are hunting for that good stuff, right? And going to these places, most of them are going to have a downloadable target so that you can go shoot. You can also look into standards that exist for different training companies. Things like the Modern Samurai Project's Black Belt Standards comes to mind. That is a 3-2 drill at 3 yards, a single shot from the holster in under a second at 7 yards, a bill drill, which is 6 shots at 7 yards in under 2 seconds, and then it's got a single shot from the holster at 25 yards in under a second and a half. You are getting good metrics and working good stuff at time, and that is kind of important. You can also look at Green Ops Green Knight standards, which are really freaking good. And a lot of this stuff is going to allow you to stay really structured, but hit a lot of stuff at the same time, right? Like, that is the goal. Now, one of my favorites, my absolute favorite things to do if I am going to the range and I am going to work on stuff because I want to be better, and that is to utilize a B8 target. Now, I buy my B8 targets from AxleTarget.com. They're not connected to me in any way, shape, or form, but they have one of the best targets on the planet, and it's called the B8 Array, and it is 8 B8 blacks 4 on each side, and 8 10 rings down the middle. I love this target because I can staple it up, and now I can run 16 different drills and never change paper, which is wild, right? It's awesome. You know how much time we waste tacking up new targets? It's a lot. So I will do that, and what I will typically do is I will structure my range day around that target, right? Again, AxelTargets.com, great people. You can tell them Uncle Freedom sent you, but they are not connected to me at all, other than I give them money to get more targets. But you can do stuff like draw fire 1 into a B8, right? We are basically keying in on a target this big. We can do this at 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 25 yards, right? It is what you make it. Now I can take it and I can do draw fire 2. So I've got some kind of recoil control, or I'm going to push for doubles. As fast as I can reset the gun, one sight picture 2 shots at like 3 yards and try to keep them in a B8, right? Or I can do strong hand only. I'll do this a lot. I will draw and fire 10 rounds, strong hand only, trying to keep them in a B8. Then I'll pancake over. Now I'm going to do 10 rounds, support hand only, trying to keep them in the B8. Working this stuff is how we become more proficient and better shooters. I will then do things like I will do a 1 into a 10 ring and then a slide lock reload 3 into a B8, right? So now I'm getting good recoil control after I've done a mandatory reload, right? Like, we can get what we want out of this. The thing is looking at the individual components of a drill and realizing the stuff you're getting better at because it's all in this drill. I'll also do cadence drills, which may be to take a B8 and say that my scoring parameter is anything inside of the 9 ring, right? And I may stand at 7 yards and just rip 10 shots and try to keep a solid cadence as fast as I can keep them inside of that target. And this is all using that one single target, right? One kind of target. You can print B8s from like Targets for free and a bunch of other stuff too if you don't want to order them, but you just know that it's very hard to score things unless you've got a bunch of them. Now, you also get the added metrics, especially with B8 targets are using like an IPSC where we are actually looking at and counting points, 5, 3, 1. You are getting the added metric of now being able to keep score. That is a secondary metric, right? Your accuracy is now scoreable if we shoot on a scoring target. So now we can track our score, right? So something like support hand only, right? I may not have a time standard at all on that. I may just beep and I am going for 10 rounds and I'm trying to shoot 100 every time. And if I can do that every time at 3, maybe I back up to 15 and try it, right? That is the goal. We are going for an actual score and accountability on paper, right? Because paper doesn't lie to you. You can't get a marginal hit on a piece of paper and it still be good. You just sucked. So now what I will do is I will either set my par times for what it is that I want to do, which you guys are going to see in a second, or in the beginning, an just insanely important thing to do is get you something like a Coltac Note Keeper. You don't have to buy this one. I just really like this notebook cover from Coltac. It holds the small, the 5x8 Moleskine notebooks. I like this. Get you this. Get you a Lockbee Field Journal, right? I love those guys too. Not connected to me either. Get you something to write your stuff down in, because now we're going to keep track on how we progress, right? You do this in the gym. You keep track of how your weights have progressed and how your diet is going, right? We're going to do the same thing. And to do that, we need 2 separate metrics. One of those is a score, which we're going to get from a B8 or a scoreable target. And the second one is time. Now, you can go really in the weeds in a timer sense. I own a lot of different timers, but I can tell you if you're just starting out, the Pact Club timer, absolutely amazing. It's going to do everything you need it to do. It's going to show you your splits. You can review your times. It's going to give you an accurate measurement of how fast you are, right? That is the most effective way to get into it. Now, that said, you have other options out there, and 2 of them that I utilize now all of the time. One of them is the Kestrel shot timer, which was one of the best investments I've ever made. Not necessarily as an individual training, but as a guy who may have 7 people running the same string of fire in a row. I can scroll back and look at my last 50 strings of fire and tell you what they were right on my device right here. The thing is bomb-proof. Yes, it's expensive, but it is awesome. And then the other one I will use is the Shooters Global, right? You do not have to buy the super expensive one. You can buy the Shooters Global Go. very small, and it connects to an app on your phone. That is how you get those things where on your phone you set it up on a tripod and you record yourself and the shot times on your phone. Now you can go back and see where you're messing stuff up later on. That is not a necessity, and honestly it can be distracting if you're just trying to get good. So what I would tell you to do is a standard shot timer, a notebook, and a pencil, and keep track of your times. Keep track of your draw times, keep track of your splits, keep track of your reload times, because just because this isn't a reload drill doesn't mean I can't go through and look at my split between this one and tell you how fast my reload was while I was shooting a string of fire. All of these are metrics we can track. All of these lead to us becoming a more proficient, better shooter. And over time, right? Because we're keeping a logbook of all of our times, especially in the beginning. Well, now I can go back and look at my draws over the last 30 days, 30 range trips, right? And I can see where my draw is picking up speed, and I can decide that, man, okay, I really need to be shooting for a 0.95 draw every time for a shot. And that becomes my metric by which I judge myself. Maybe my reloads, if I hit one dead nuts perfect, it's in under 2 seconds, right? But maybe my bad reloads are 5 seconds, but my standalone in the middle is about 2.75. That is now my metric for judging whether or not my reloads are becoming better or worse. And I developed that all on my own through my own data. Like I said, the best part about this is, man, something as simple as a Pack Club timer, a B8 target you can print online, and a notebook, and we are now collecting real, tangible data that shows us our progression and where we need to work more, right? This is awesome. I actually keep a training journal as well, and it is an undated journal. And what I do is I dry fire every single day. And I will go through every day and I will write, just like Dear Diary, I was doing this, right? I will go in there and be like, all right, I did dry fire, from the holster, 2 rounds with the transition for 50 reps. And then I did like reloads and stuff with some weighted mags from Double Alpha Academy. Also not connected to me, but an excellent training tool. The weighted mags from Double Alpha are awesome, right? So I can do that, and I can collect this a metric in time, and I keep a record of what I did, right? And here's the thing, when you look back over 3 to 4 to 5 weeks and you've dry fired or shot every single day, and you notice when on your range stuff that your times are improving, your accuracy standard is getting better, that's a great feeling. It also serves the purpose that if you forget about it for a week, you look like dog shit and you feel terrible about it, just like when you don't go to the gym because you'll go tomorrow. It is the same thing. So now that we've done that, right, we've decided on our drills, we've got our targets set up, we have our notebook, we have our shot timer, we've decided what we're working on, and we know how many rounds we're going to shoot. Now comes the next part. Now you need to pre-stage your gear. Put staples in your stapler. I don't know who needs to hear that, dude. I've said this a bunch of times, like, your shit's out of staples, man. Put staples in there. Check your batteries in your stuff. Replace your batteries. If it's double check that your optic is where it's supposed to be. Go ahead and do that. Throw some lube on your AR. Lube up your gun. Whatever you're going to do it the night before so it's not something you're screwing with on the range. And then load your mags. Now, I have a different kind of benefit to loading mags. I have always advocated for loading your mags before you go to the range, but I do mine a different way. So this is actually from July 6th. This was our range day on Sunday. If you notice where it says this, it'll have numbers off to the side. Those numbers actually correspond to something in this. This is a Case Club mag case. This holds 20 AR mags and 20 handgun mags, and I'm going to give you guys a look at the inside of this. Paster trash. So that's what we get, right? Those are +5 extension mags in the back, and I've got just 20 AR mags in the front. It doesn't matter even if I've got mag pods on there, it still works, no issue. If I've got mag pulls like the old ones in there, we're good. Even running something like the Moab extensions from Ghost, we're good. But if you look at my magazines, these are all numbered, right? So this is number 106. I know when I'm doing this drill, when I get here, all right, consistency rifle, I need 1 mag of 18. I'm going to grab 106, and that's going to be my mag for that drill. It means I don't spend a lot of time messing around trying to load the exact round count and stuff because I'm trying to hurry up before it gets too hot or whatever. All I'm doing is grabbing it, putting it in my belt, and going out on the range and having a good time, right? Like that is pre-staging your gear. Now the next part of this is to be 100% accountable when you go do this. Be honest when you fail, when you could do better. And if you find yourself getting really bored and like just overwhelmingly tempted to mag dump into trash, that means your drills don't have enough of the go fast in them, right? Like you need a drill or two inside of every range day that is like a hurry up, go fast drill, right? So one of some drills that I'll use for the hurry up, go fast is like the Bear Solutions Bear Standard drill. 5, bolt lock or slide lock reload, 3 into the middle, right? This is a very fast drill. Like you are shooting 10 rounds in a second or in a couple seconds, right? Another one that I will do, I really like doing it, is the take 5 drill, right? So the take 5 drill, you start at 5 yards, you shoot 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 yards. You shoot 5 rounds each time. And like your time standard at 25 yards is 7 seconds from the holster. Passing is all 25 on here. If you miss one or you break a line, you fail. I like that one. Another great one, if you really want to get some stuff out of your things, this, right? So this is the Gladiator Guns pre-training drill, or the PTD. You need 2 mags of 9 and 1 mag of 10, and you're going to shoot this in descending numerical order with the amount of rounds it says on the box. So I'm going to start with 7 rounds into here. I'm then going to fire 6 rounds into here. Now, if you did the math, I did 7. That means I only got 2 rounds into here, right? Now I'm forcing a reload, and I have to finish this off, shoot 4 more, and then start shooting my 5 into here, which means I should bolt lock again, and then I'm going to finish off with the 4, 3, 2, 1 with the last 10 rounds. This drill beats the crap out of people because not only am I telling you that you have to count and do things in a reverse numerical order, I'm also telling you that you're going to have to reload in the middle and keep track of it. And it's a blast. It's a ton of fun. And to give you an example, like this is considered to be, you're an expert if you shoot this clean in 20 seconds, right? It is kind of what you make of it. But I feel like probably the funnest way to do this is going to be to actually look at a couple of my range days. So let's look at the range day from June 22nd, and I have one from July 6th. So I started this off. This was a rifle training day. So I used the Gorilla Approach rifle training one, which is squares and rectangles instead of circles. Big ones get 2, small ones get 1. It's 1 magazine of 18 rounds to do it. And what it is, it's made to be shot at the 3-yard line so that you have to account for height overboard the entire time. Then I will do something known as the Rune Nation Cold Start Drill. Now the Rune Nation Cold Start Drill is kind of a bear. I don't know if I've got one of those down here. I kind of grabbed a stack of targets and was like, maybe I'll have them, maybe I won't. Oh yeah, so that's the consistency for rifles, right? Like you get the little rectangles and stuff. Yeah, I don't have one down here. It's fine. So when we do that one, right, the Rune Nation has got 4 shapes around the outside and then a big circle in the middle, and you put 1 round into the shape, 3 rounds into the middle, 1 round or 4 rounds into the middle, 1 round into the shape, 4 rounds into the middle. And what it is, you have 3 mags of 8, or you can do 2 of 8 and like a full load, or no, 1 and then 3, right? So you're basically, if you shoot it completely clean, you shoot your first 2 mags. It's awesome, right? It's a fun drill. It really makes your brain warp because you're gonna screw it up. Everybody does. Then I do the Eleanor, which is a Sage Dynamics drill. You can get that one on there. It is the top part of like an IPSC with a very small triangle or dot in the head, a 1-inch circle dot in the head, and an A zone that's like this big. And what we're going to do is we're going to shoot 1 into the circle in the head, and then we're going to shoot 3 into that A zone. And the time standards are very spicy. We're talking 2.5 seconds, right, for a very high level of accuracy. And we're going to do that with handguns and with rifles, right? Do that. This one was set up mainly as a rifle day. And we run that drill 5 times. So that's 1 mag of 20 to run through this, right? Now, then I would do the Cape Buffalo. So this is the fast drill, right? 2, reload 4. But I call it the Cape Buffalo because that thing is just harder to put down. So now we're going to come out on the end and 3 into the head box. We're going to bolt lock, reload, put 5 into the chest. So just stepping up the round count there for that one. And then I run one known as the 20 Alpha. Put an IPSC up, stand back at 20 yards, have one magazine of 20 for a rifle or two mags of 10 for a handgun. And on the beep, you're either going to come up, you're going to put 5 rounds, only alphas count. We're going for, I think it's 2.5 seconds is what we're looking for, 3.5 for a handgun. But what you're shooting for is all in. Then I do one known as attack and control. I stole attack and control from Sean Griffith at Griffith Shooting Solutions because it's awesome. I'm going to have 2 IPSC targets at about 5 yards in front of me, and then I'm going to have a single piece of A-zone steel at 25 yards. And what we're going to do is, on the beep, you're going to come up, attack your close targets, and then you're going to slow down and get a very accurate throttled down shot into that small steel piece at 25. And then as you're doing it, you're going to run 5 yards over here, stop, and reverse your target, right? So the way I have mine set up is attack, control, and then control, attack, and then attack, control, control, attack. You learn things like I can be exiting position as I'm still shooting on an attack target. I can be shooting before I get stopped all the way on an attack target. If it's a control, I need to slow down and make that shot count. Then the 26-30 drill, which is something I invented. Specifically for this range day. But the 26-30 drill is we take an IPSC, we have a 4x6 note card in the chest, a 3x5 in the head. That is your only acceptable hit zone. And what we're going to do is from the low ready, this is all shot at 10 yards. The low ready on a rifle, 5 rounds into the torso. Then we're going to face to our right, we're going to pivot to our left, and we're going to shoot 5 rounds into the torso again. Then we're going to face to our left, pivot to our right, 5 rounds into the torso again. Then we're going to do 3 reload 2 because we should be coming down. So you need a magazine of 18, a magazine of 12. Now I'm going to do 3 reload 2, but I'm going to do 3 into the torso, and I'm going to reload 2 into the head box. Then I'm going to go low ready, 5 rounds head box only. Then I'm going to go low ready, 2 rounds into the torso, turn and sprint back to the 25-yard line, and I'm going to put 3 rounds into the head. Now, only the hits inside of the white count. If you get 26 out of 30, you pass the drill. If you shoot 28 out of 30, you don't suck. It's awesome. And then we did our SRT qualification, which is a lot more in depth and something that I will show you guys on the range. But then if we look at this guy, right? This was the drill from this past Sunday. So we started off with that consistency handgun from Gorilla Approach, and then we did consistency rifle. So we were effectively flopping back and forth. Consistency handgun, consistency rifle. And then I did Rune Nation again, that 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, right? Did that. We did Rune Nation with a handgun, which made it more difficult at 3 yards, and then we did it with a rifle at 5 so that I had offset issues. Then we did the Gladiator PTD, which is the one with the big stop sign in the middle of it. We did Gladiator PTD at 5 yards with a handgun, and then we did it at 7 yards with a rifle. Then we did the Take 5 drill, which is the one where the entire sheet of paper with a thoracic cavity. We did Take 5 for handgun, then Take 5 for rifle. Then we did the Bear Solutions Standards drill. 5, 5, bolt lock, reload 3. Same thing with a handgun. 5, 5, slide lock, reload 3. Now I will tell you, if you're going to do this and you want to run this drill more than once, you need to do some things. You don't need to load your magazine 10 and 3. You need to load your magazines 10, 13, and 3. That means you hit your 10 rounds, 5, 5, slide lock, reload with a 13 round mag, 3 into the center. Holster up, you are now ready to run this drill immediately again. Learning how to do that math is what keeps you on the range training for longer and less time cramming your mags. Then we shot the 3R33 drill, which is Bear's drill for this month. We ran it a bunch, but I posted my first cold run on that target. I believe I shot it in an 8.82 for like an almost 5 hit factor. Pretty, not great by my standards, but I was not shooting well that day as it turned out. And to set that one up, I actually set it up so it could be run 6 times total. And that was 1 mag of 10, 1 mag of 18, 1 mag of 10, 1 mag of 18. If you do that, that will allow you to just shoot that drill 3 consecutive times. Yeah, 3 consecutive times on each set of mags. Then we did the 26-30 drill again, but we did it with a handgun versus a rifle. We did attack control, this time with a handgun instead of a rifle. And then at the end of the day, we loaded up 2 mags of 18 and a mag of 3, and we ran the Modern Samurai Projects Black Belt Standards 3 times for every stage. That's a 3-2 at 3 yards, 1 shot at 7 yards in a second or less, bill drill from 7 yards, 6 rounds, 7 yards, in 2 seconds or less, and then 1 shot at 25 yards from the holster in under a second and a half. This is how I set up my range days. Don't be afraid. If you get out there and you realize your reloads are hot garbage, there is nothing wrong with taking an entire range day. And what I would tell you to do is I would tell you to take 3 to 4 magazines, load them completely up, and have an empty mag. And then get out there, load your empty mag, get the round off, put your dry mag in, and then do 1 reload 2, or 1 reload 3, or 1 reload 4, until you get your reloads to where you're feeling good about them. But I would also tell you, you can do a lot of that in dry fire. So the rifle we used for the range day was this guy. This is that Griffin Armament Mark II, 14.5 pin and welded with the Griffin HRT 556 G2 can, 1-8 Griffin Armament LPVO, and their enclosed emitter red dot. Really nice guy. And then for those that have already wondered what it was that I shot with during that 3R33 drill, it was, of course, my Glock 45 Gen 5 with a Radian Ramjet, direct cut for the Acro, 429 sights, Cogworks slide stop, Overwatch precision tack trigger, X300 turbo, SLR Rifleworks magwell, and then I have goon tape in that super awesome Flectarn. This is the gun I ran for all the handgun stuff. This gun is in excess of 34,000 rounds at this point, or 35,000 rounds at this point, in about 1 year and 4 months. So guys, develop a training plan, hold yourself accountable, get a shot timer, print out some B8s, decide how much ammo you're willing to burn, load your mags before you go for the drills you're planning on doing, go out, have a great time, get better, be the most dangerous, awesome person of you that you can be. And to everyone, go out and shoot Bear Solutions 3R33 drill. Go check him out on his channel. He's got a full thing of what you need to do to film it. Who cares if you suck? Get out there and do it. Because I promise you, you may suck, but I'm going to cheer you on because I want you to be better. Remember, do something today that ensures if they cloned your ass today, you could kick your ass tomorrow. So guys, I am Uncle Freedom. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I truly hope you guys found this informative, and it makes you all just that much more better, because that, after all, is what my goal is for you every time I do this. So take care of yourself, take care of each other, and until next time, I'll see you later.